Hello, welcome to the KZGN News. Today we'll bring you news about yesterday's Republican debate, news from the Ridgecrest Police Department, an update about the LA school shutdown yesterday, today's gas prices, weather, sports, and much more.
From the Rademacher Hills to Bee Mountain and the mighty Sierras, Ridgecrest to Inyokern and China Lake, this is your news for the Indian Wells Valley with the KZGN News Crew.
Hello, I'm Tom Whitnick. Thanks for joining us for the news affecting Ridgecrest in the Indian Wells Valley. We have received a few inquiries from residents stating they have noticed an unusually heavy presence of law enforcement in Ridgecrest on Tuesday, and they were wondering what was going on. In news from the Ridgecrest Police Department, we hear that they held a probation sweep all day yesterday. Officers from all over Kern County assisted in the sweep, and a few arrests were made. The department does not have the statistics tallied yet, but we'll put this out as soon as they do. However, they see it as a successful effort to curb crime in the city. Well, last night we had a chance to see the fifth Republican presidential debate. CNN hosted the debate in Los Angeles. Once again, it was a two-step debate, with the first four and the lowest holding their debate on the first 2 hours of the night. Then the top 9 met for the primetime debate for 2 hours. CNN decided that most of the debate would focus on national security, immigration, and fighting terrorists. Reports say Huckabee had a decent debate in the first round. However, the other three apparently didn't offer much to help their rise off the bottom tier. In the main debate, it started off with opening statements. Then the questions started. The first segment was almost again entirely on the moderators trying to get the other candidates to attack Trump. While most of the candidates did challenge Trump on his policies, most of their answers were not that far off of what Trump is saying. Almost all the candidates did provide more focus on their positions versus the Clinton positions. The most notable exchanges were one between Bush and Trump on a few of the issues. Bush attacked Trump as being ridiculous on his plan to not allow refugees into the U.S. and the plan to deport illegal immigrants. Trump countered that Bush is weak on enforcing the laws and weak on immigration. Another exchange was between Rubio and Cruz. They jabbed back and forth over Rubio's support for eventual amnesty for illegals and being more aligned with the Democrats on some issues. Rand Paul also, right from the start, attacked Trump. Right from his opening statement, he tried to ridicule Trump. I would say that Trump generally held his own when attacked. Bush attempted to be a lot stronger, but some pundits say it might be too little too late for him. The other candidates did some back and forth as well. Paul attacked all the other candidates as talking about rebuilding the military. Paul says there's no way to pay for it. Some candidates proposed a no-fly zone over Syria. Would the candidates challenge Putin? That was one of the questions. Christie was very clear in how he would deal with Putin. When he was asked if he would actually shoot down a Russian jet, he said, "You bet." In talking about fighting ISIS, Trump was challenged in his proposal to control the internet. A couple candidates accused him of violating the First Amendment to do that. Trump replied that he means to do it in Syria and that part of the country. He said, as well as many of the candidates also said, that ISIS is using the internet to control fighters all over the world. So Trump's response is that we need to get into their use of the internet and monitor it or totally disrupt them from using it in their countries. Trump did not propose to control the internet in the United States. Fiorina performed with her expected clear and organized responses to the questions. Her and Carson complained of not getting enough time to answer questions. Trump also offered one complaint during the questioning against CNN for asking too many questions that would lead people like Bush to attack him. He said, why is this whole debate about his proposals and not about the others' proposals? And that was true. Many questions posed by the moderators were asked in a way to get the person being asked to attack Trump. Most watchers were wanting to see if Carson could perform better this time than on the last time on foreign affairs issues. Carson's answers were okay, but still seemed generally weak. But I guess that's part of his personality. But even he did not waver on his position to not let in Syrian refugees into the U.S. and to hold strong to stop illegal immigration. Almost all the candidates again committed to finishing building the wall on the southern border. All offered that the wall isn't just about stopping Mexicans, it's about national security and stopping bad people from coming into the U.S. This tied into most of them saying that the current administration is not willing to fight terror in the U.S. or anywhere else. But the fight at home is the most important. In summation, on many issues the candidates were not that far apart. Other than Paul, that still challenges most issues with the price tag behind doing things, the only area where candidates did differ was in the handling of Syria. Kasich, Paul, and Rubio feel we should let the civil war play out and then decide what to do. Trump is kind of in the middle, expressing that he would not have gotten involved in the civil war, but now that we are, we should hit ISIS hard and wipe them out first, then decide what to do with Russia, Syria, and Iran. The other candidates all felt we need to get more serious now and stop ISIS and Iran. All candidates directed the blame to Obama and Clinton for how the war in the Middle East is going. So that's the high points of the debate. We are only 2 months away from the first votes on the campaign for the White House. Early polls coming out show Trump holding his own. Rubio and Cruz continued their second-place battle. Bush showed a strong effort, but probably not enough to climb back into the race. The rest of the group had some good moments, but probably not good enough to move their numbers. The weekend poll should show the winners from last night. And just when will the next presidential debates be held? Well, sooner than you think. The next Democratic debate will be held Saturday evening, December 19th. It will be hosted by ABC News and held in New Hampshire. Then there will be another Democrat debate in North Carolina that will be held January 17th and hosted by NBC News. Like the Democrats, the next Republican debate will also be held in New Hampshire, but it will be on Saturday, February 6th, and be hosted by ABC News. So, one more debate before they all take a break for the holidays. Now stay with us for a report on the Los Angeles school system shutdown yesterday. Thanks for staying with us. Yesterday we saw where the entire Los Angeles school system was canceled yesterday. Everything was shut down due to an email threat being sent to some school officials. It turned out that the threat was a hoax. The shutdown affected over 650,000 students. LA is the second largest school system in the country. We still have not seen the actual content of this threat, but one official said that the threat was worded very badly. The threat stated he was going to do mass bombings and that he had 32 accomplices to help him pull it off. One news source is reporting that the source of the email was out of the U.S., but it is not known where it came from. It is also being reported that there had been a similar threat recently in New York City, but the officials there believed it to be a hoax and did not react the way the officials in Los Angeles did. However, officials did say that the two threats in LA and New York were similar in content. The New York threat stated that he had 150 accomplices helping to do the attack. But officials in LA decided to err on the side of caution and close down the school system. The safety of our kids is important. Officials said, given the nature of the threat that they received, they stand by their decision to shut down. Well, tonight the Ridgecrest City Council will have their last meeting of the year. It will be at 6 p.m. in the City Council chambers at City Hall. They will cover probably the most important item on this agenda. It has to do with the city having a discussion of the Kern County Council recommendation to form a joint powers authority for the purposes of establishing the Indian Wells Valley Groundwater Sustainability Agency. This is the next step in the city participating in the new agency. The County Council for the County of Kern has provided a memorandum regarding a recommendation that a joint powers authority, or JPA, be used rather than a memorandum of agreement, an MOA, to form the Indian Wells Valley GSA. This item is brought for discussion and possible minute motion to formulate City of Ridgecrest response to the recommendation and direct staff to forward a response letter to the County Council. An MOA would be simpler to agree to, but a JPA is ruled by state law in that a JPA is really a governing body with certain powers that a simple MOA would not provide. A JPA would have more power. Additionally, a JPA would fall under the Brown Act in how it conducts business. This is important as this new agency will certainly affect every water user in the valley. The people attending these startup meetings have made it real clear that they want to be involved in the process to form and then move this agency forward. The county, city, and water agencies will be the main players in this new agency. This is an important item. It will lay out the legal method that the city will legally join in the new agency. So if you want to be involved in this decision, you still have time to make it down to the meeting. In Indian Wells Valley Water District news, they held their meeting last Monday evening. During the meeting, they held the election of officers. Don Corciadato was elected to this year's president, and Peter Brown was elected as vice president of the board. In Christmas news, many people go out to look at the Christmas light displays around the city, and there are some great displays. We want to remind everyone that the Church of Latter-day Saints will again have their live nativity scene this year. The live display will be on December 19th and December 20th. That's this Saturday and Sunday. They will be performing from 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. The display will be at their church at 1031 South Norma in the East Lawn area. New this year, there will be some live music performances through the evening as well. The live music is presented by local musicians that want to raise the performance to another level. Music will be both vocal and instrumental, focusing on standard Christmas hymns. The church feels the whole season is to focus on Jesus Christ, and that is what they'll do. So, if you're going to go out and look at Christmas light displays this weekend, make sure and swing by this display. And one other display that I personally like to see every year is a star on Bee Mountain. This is a display that has been on the base for years and years. It has shined over the city for many years. Myself and the entire community thank the volunteers that keep it repaired and operating, and a special thanks to the Navy for allowing the display to continue. That star is a major part of this community. Now, in KZGN's continuous effort to provide news and information you've asked for, here are today's gas prices for Ridgecrest and some surrounding areas. Well, since my last report on Monday, gas prices again have crept down slightly. As of this morning, Ridgecrest is ranging from $2.63 to $2.99, Lancaster from $2.65 to $2.94, the LA Valley area $2.53 to $2.69, and the Bishop area $2.71 to $2.99. We have 3 stations at the $2.63 amount. Tune in Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays for updates. We at KZGN always suggest you shop locally to support our local economy. Remember, when you pay sales tax out of town, you're helping those cities pave their streets instead of here. Now stay with us for weather and sports when we come back. Thanks for staying with us. Now here's Lane with the weather.
Thank you, Tom. From the National Weather Service, a winter storm will continue to bring heavy snow, gusty winds, and hazardous travel conditions across much of the northern plains on Wednesday. Winter storm warnings and winter weather advisories are in effect from northern Nebraska to northern Minnesota. Meanwhile, the first in a series of strong storms will impact the Pacific Northwest beginning Wednesday night and continue into the weekend. Temperatures across the nation: Carolinas at 68, Georgia at 71, Arkansas at 63, northern Texas at 43, Arizona at 51, and Los Angeles at 58. And for us locally, tonight mostly clear with a low around 28, west-southwest wind 5 miles per hour. Thursday, sunny with a high near 54 with a calm wind. Thursday night, mostly clear with a low around 31, northeast wind 5 miles per hour. Friday, sunny with a high near 57, southwest wind 5 miles per hour. Friday night, mostly clear with a low around 34, north-northwest wind 5 miles per hour. And Saturday, partly sunny with a high near 59, north wind 5 miles per hour. And that's your forecast for the IWV. Now back to Tom.
Thanks, Lane. And now here's Tom Eck with sports.
And a pleasant Wednesday early evening to everyone. We'll take a look at college football and the bowl games tomorrow. For those that are wondering how many bowl games there are too many bowl games. There are 40 bowl games. That means you have to have 80 teams. Now, the rule was that you had to win 6 games to be bowl eligible. The problem, they couldn't find enough teams that had 6-1 wins in Division I football. So what did they do? They bring in some 5 and 7 teams. So the mediocre go below the mediocre, and now you're just getting enough teams to fill up everything, and you might as well just call it the Participation Bowl. I think it's getting a little bit too ridiculous, but if it's a good cause for money making, maybe I'm all wrong of my thinking anyway on that one. All right, I want to take this time, look at the NBA standings a little bit over in the West. The Thunder are 16-8. Kevin Durant healthy again. Russell Westbrook healthy again. Billy Donovan, the new coach, doing a great job. Donovan spent most of his career in college. He was at University of Florida. He won the NCAA twice there. The Jazz under Quinn Snyder. Snyder's got that team playing a lot better. They're currently 11-13. Portland not playing well at all, 11-15. And Denver a little bit better this year. They're 10-14 after their worst season in the history of the franchise last year. All right, in the Pacific Division, Golden State 24-1. The only bump in the road was that loss in Milwaukee on Sunday, but that was their 7th game on a 7-game road trip. Now, no NBA team has ever won 7 games in a row on the road. Never has happened. The Clippers, 15-10, they have now won 5 games in a row. Suns, Kings behind them. Kings a little bit better this year. The Lakers, dreary with that 3-21 record. Their worst start since probably they moved to LA from Minnesota. I can't remember a start as bad as this one for the Lakers. In the Southwest Division, Greg Popovich has his Spurs playing very well, 21-5 right now. The Mavericks 14-11, the Grizzlies 14-12. They have played a lot better in the second part of the early season. And Houston, after they fired Kevin McHale, has won 5 of 8 games. They're currently 12-13. Yesterday we talked about the AFC, and now we're going to look at the NFC. We're going to look at the AFC today. And the Washington Redskins have a record of 6-7. That's their best start, believe it or not, within the last 6 years. The Eagles are 6-7. They got off to a horrid start. Chip Kelly's team has actually won 3 games in a row. The Giants are 6-7, and Dallas is 4-9. That is your Eastern Division of the NFC. As bad as it is, someone's going to have to win that division and get to the playoffs. It makes it a lot of fun, though. 3 weeks left. All those teams are in contention. Boy, when you can be 6-7 and have a chance to go to the playoffs, things got to be looking your way. Over in the North, Green Bay 9-4. They have now won 2 of 3 games. The Vikings 8-5. The Vikings lost a tough 23-20 game to Arizona on Sunday down in Phoenix. Over in the South, the only undefeated team in football is who? The Carolina Panthers. They are 13-0. Out west, the Cardinals are 11-2, their best start in the last 6 years. And Seattle, fighting for a playoff spot, is 8-5. But Pete Carroll, great motivator. They've played well lately. They get some folks back from injuries. I think they have a chance to repeat in a Super Bowl game this year. All right, there's your sports for this Wednesday afternoon. For KZGN, I am Tom Heck.
So that's the news for today. Also, KZGN-TV know you have a choice in what you watch for your news. We thank you for choosing KZGN-TV, Ridgecrest's only locally owned community TV station. Now stay tuned for Ridgecrest Talk coming up next.